Okay, well, anyway, I'm going to open the line a little bit and make sure that everybody that we need to be on is open. So please keep your lines. Hit mute. Hit is star four star on your telephone keypad. That will mute your line, I believe. Is it 4 star? And 5 star raises your hand. Yeah, you need 5 star to raise your hand, 4 star to mute your line. Please do that. I'm going to open the entire call because I'm not sure that I see. Okay, well, I don't see it there. All right, well, anyway, good morning. I'm going to go ahead and hit the record button.
Conference recording started.
Okay, welcome to the Breakfast Club. This is Joe Shoop, and joining us, Deanna Kennedy, Taylor Eckert, of course, Joe Norman, our wonderful leader, and our Director of Communication, Dan Girolamo. Dr. Denis, welcome. I have quite a few topics here to cover today, but let me say if you haven't received a notice for the call starting tomorrow evening, it is the KB Vision is going to be, they have a special call with the women of KB Vision, and we have a few of those women on the call with us, and the purpose of that really is to hear the voices, a specific call with women who are communicating what they're doing in the business and how to build a home business and what's happening in the world here with our economy and gold. And so Taylor and Deanna will be on that call when they can. I will also be having a few other leaders on the call here that are usually on the Breakfast Club, but we'll be hosting those calls that night. Of course, Dan will be there when he can make it, as well as Dr. Denis and myself. And I think this is going to be a great call for those who do not make the Breakfast Club in the morning. This is an opportunity for them to come in and hear what's going on at the Breakfast Club and hear from leaders, women leaders who are building the business here. So I'm excited about that. Are you there, Taylor? Can you hear me, or are you not muted? I think you're muted. Let me get you unmuted here. I got to get you the code to get in here, and I'll find your number in a minute. But and Deanna, you're unmuted now. And there we go. Are you there, Deanna?
Yes, I am, Joe.
Okay. Well, welcome. And Taylor, now your line is unmuted. So there we go. So it sounds. Okay, good. Well, anyway, there's a problem with one of those lines that I unmuted. Deanna, it may be yours. Hold on, I'm going to mute your line again. I think it is because I know you're on a business line. Okay, it is your line. It's causing some interference. If you're on a speaker, Deanna, you need to do that. I don't know what it is, but every time I open your line, there's some activity going on. It's actually a background, not a background noise. It's a screech of some sort. But anyway, Taylor, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, good. So I'm excited because I've been working with Taylor a little bit and following what she's doing in business, and I know she's really a worker, which is why she's going to be talking to people and what she's doing and how she's contacting people, and that's the key to this business. The key to it is to be able to be part of a system whereby recruiting never stops, and that takes activity. You can't manage your result. You can only manage the activity. The only activity that will cause you to build an organization is communication. You have to communicate with people. You have to give them your message. You have to send them information. You have to have them talk to people who are qualified to tell them what this business is about and talk to them. People will have questions about gold and so on. And so that's what has to happen. And I'm learning that Taylor is a real worker in this business. And that's going to be great to hear from you, Taylor, tomorrow night. And we'll work with all that. We're working with everybody that's working. So I want to do something unusual here, Joe Norman. I'm going to find out why Denis has this is not Dr. Denis, but this is Denis, 541 area code 23. Do you have a question, Denis? Your hand is raised. I'm going to lock it back down. Can you hear me, Denis? Area code 541. Okay, line is locked back down again. Maybe they didn't raise their hand. Okay. Here's what we're going to do this morning. First of all, we're going to start this off with what's happening in the world of gold. So I'm going to go over to Joe Norman. Joe Norman, can you help us out here? Tell us what's going on in the world of gold here.
Absolutely. Gold set an all-time high early this morning in pre-trading, $1,924, and traders, when the market opened, took profits off the table. It dropped down a little bit, but I'm looking at CNBC charts right now. Gold's up $22. Interestingly enough, silver's down. The stock market's down over 200 points. Every asset class that I'm looking on the board here is down, and gold is the only one up, and that's, again, a clear signal. And for every action, there's a reaction. There's things going on, not only here in this side of the world, but even worse and more concerning issues are going on in Europe that we can touch on a little bit later, Joe, but that's what's going on with gold.
Good. Okay, great. If there's any questions about that, just, 5-star on your telephone keypad. Dennis, I just took your hand down. If you need to raise and ask a question, then raise your hand again with 5-star. I'll know that you did, but there's a problem. You weren't there when we looked for you. So that being said, Boomer, do you have any? We're going to go over to Joe Norman very shortly because we're going to talk about some strategy and that's being employed here that's having great success, and then we'll run over and talk about what's going on with the economy. So why don't you talk to us a little bit first, though, Boomer, about what's going on with your business and the economy here. I know it has a big effect. We're starting a campaign now discussing the economy and YKB, so we'll go over to you.
Well, thanks a lot. I touched on the KB Stadium. There's been a great response to that, and you can find out more details by going, if you're on Facebook, by going to search and put in KB Vision KB Stadium social media. Now, Joe Norman, Coach Joe, he's got a 50, 100, 500 plan here. Is that correct, Joe?
Yes.
And I'd love for you to be the one that talks about this, because this, I think, is really has had a good response. I brought that out last night in a group in Las Vegas. There are a lot of affiliates out there, guys, that they have lost contact with their with active upline, that they don't know who they are, and somebody, because they clicked in on the Breakfast Club, actually put together some people, and they all met in Vegas, and it was unusual to get a call from somebody that I've never known before to find out they're in our business and reaching out for us to actually engage what to do, and it was great. But Joe, if you would, Joe Norman, can you touch on the plan?
Sure, I'll be happy to. It's just getting the information in front of as many eyeballs as you can. And just as Joe Shoop said earlier, Boomer, he said, you can't control results, but you can control your activity. And for me, this venture with KB Vision has actually become a crusade for me. Most of the people, probably 95% of the people breathing the same air we are, don't know what's going on in reality. They don't know the things that are going on behind the scenes that are going to affect them today, tomorrow, next month, and next year. And just the simple Murphy's Law of Physics, for every action, there's a reaction. There's things going on right now that are going to affect all of us. So you have a choice. Either you can glide along with good intentions, and be reactive, or you can do some homework, some research, and be proactive and actually prosper from what's coming. Because money doesn't disappear, ever. It just changes hands. So the question is, which end are you going to be on, winning or losing? And that's one of the inspirations that Boomer had to create the stadium, because, you know, everyone that suits up and gets into this stadium, probably even some of the people sitting in the stands, they haven't really got on the field yet. They will benefit just simply from the information they're going to be exposed to. But to get on the field, you got to be on a purchase program. And if you don't have skin in the game, none of this is going to benefit you at all. So the bottom line is this. You get the information in front of people if they are the right type of people. It's a yes waiting to happen. And when they say, yes, Dr. Dennis, I see the virtues of an account with KB. What do I do to get started? Well, this is where we're making a change in our approach. I have started, as have many, many others, deploying this strategy. Well, Bill, great. I'm glad you see things the way we do, and I'm sure you're excited and see the potential and the possibilities with this, and we're going to go ahead and get you set up with an account with KB. But I want you to know that you have some different options. But before I explain your options, Bill, how serious are you? And if you guys are listening, write this down. Once someone indicates they want an account, you need to ask them, how serious are you about making money with this program? And then just pause and let them think about it. Well, you know, they may react a couple different ways. Some people have said, well, what do you mean? Others just right off the bat say, well, I'm real serious about making money. That's why I'm registering. And it doesn't really matter what they say. Our reaction is, well, let me explain to you why I asked that question. People that are serious get started right away with a €500 purchase plan with KB. That means you're going to exchange right out of the gate €500 or about $700 for $700 worth of gold. You're going to exchange $700 of paper money for $700 of gold that's going up. In fact, today gold's up and set an all-time high, and you're going to continue to see that over the next several months. Nothing's guaranteed, but I'm going to tell you, I have had and have laid out strong technical and fundamental indicators before. What I learned yesterday curled my hair. I talked to an international gold and silver trader in San Francisco, has 7 financial licenses in the industry. He's probably one of the 3 smartest people that I know regarding financial dealings, and he did an hour-and-a-half webinar with me yesterday, gang, that absolutely blew me away. I learned things yesterday I did not know, and it just gave me such tremendous confidence moving forward, knowing that we are on the right horse. So back to the strategy. Where do you see yourself getting started, Bill? There's another key question. Where do you see yourself getting started? We have an option where you can get started like most serious people do at the €500 level. That's about $700. Or if you're not that serious, but you're still serious, you can get started with €100 or €200, and if that's what you want to do, we'll put you in leg number 2. People that do the €500 plan, we put all of them in leg number 1, and those are the people that we spend the majority of our time and attention with. Not that we don't like the people in leg 2 and leg 3, because we do, and they're very, very important, but let's just face it. people that are going to make more of a commitment to the company, more of a commitment to their own personal finances and well-being, we're going to give them the majority of our time and attention. And I think you can see why that's the case. But, you know, not everyone has that kind of money. And so for financial reasons, sometimes people are very, very serious, but they can only afford to get started with €100. And if that's the case, you know, we'll put you in leg number 2, and we'll still work with you. But others that may not have more than the minimum €50 to start a monthly purchase plan, or just people that aren't that serious at all, they get started with €50. And for those people, we put them in leg number 3. So, Bill, where do you see yourself getting started? Another key question. Bill, where do you see yourself getting started? 500, 100, or 50? And then you just pause and let them, whatever's comfortable for them, that's what they'll do. And I am telling you guys, we have really not done this program the service that it deserves, because even people that do €500 right out of the gate, and Boomer and Dr. Denis and Joe Shoop, all of us have people that have done €5,000 right out of the gate, and even some 10,000 or more right out of the gate. Why do they do that? They do that because they can. That's one of the reasons. And they do that also because they see the value and the virtue of the program. So why would people, you know, not give them the options? Because I think far too many, and I think we have the numbers to bear it out, they get people registered and they don't follow up and ask for an order. Right? And
exactly.
You've got to, because people feel like, you know, well, that's going to benefit me and it's not going to benefit them. Well, that might be the case with a juice or a lotion or a potion, but that's not the case with KB, because just in the last 30 days, those of us that have an account with KB have seen a 15% return in 30 days. How can that not be good for the person that buys gold? And you know what? Just like what I learned yesterday, you ain't seen nothing yet. We're hearing all this talk. Well, gold has reached a peak, and gold's, you know, gonna go back to 1,000 an ounce. Well, I would like to see some valid research to undergird that argument. There is none. I am not, nor should you be interested in uninformed opinions. I am only interested in facts. I am only interested in research and factual information that makes sense. So with having said all that, I guess we'll just throw it back to Joe, and you take it where you want, Joe.
Yeah, it's great, Joe. Hey, Joe, we can maybe get into more detail at another time about the conversation that you had with this gentleman we talked about, because I think it's important that, because the direction that I'm going in as well with marketing is what's going on with our economy. And I think people don't know. I think you're exactly right. There's a couple of things I believe in this industry people don't know. One, in our business, they don't know what's going on. In fact, I think they do, but they're ignoring it. I think that we put out that email I sent for the Breakfast Club is going to be part of our strategy on a marketing email that says 86% of the people believe the economy and the dollar's crashing. People know that. Of course, they know it's going down. I don't think most people don't realize that it's going to go away. Something drastic is going to happen. It's happened with every other fiat currency since the beginning of time, and it's going to happen here. And you can see that. In fact, if you watch that 4-minute video on gold from KB, you'll see that it's going to go away somehow, some way. At some point, that dollar is going to be worth zero, and something's going to have to take its place. I don't know what the government's plan is for that. I think we have an idea, but it's going to go away. And one of the things that we're talking about in our marketing strategy is, are you aware that this is happening? And if you are you ignoring it? And the bottom line is, there's a solution to it. There's always solutions to these problems. They come up with something new, whether the solutions work or not. I think our solution works. I really do, and I think it's going to have a major impact on the world economies. This type of replacement of the fiat currency. The second part I don't think people know about, Joe, is really what you said here. There's some key questions that you asked here this morning, and I think that's the problem with looking for interested people, is asking the right questions. Those in control ask the questions. Even if they come back and ask questions, it's okay. You have to learn the strategy of getting back to where you're going in your direction and not let the other person lead your conversation. We're on a mission. You made a statement here I wrote down. Not interested in uninformed opinions. Taylor, can you hear me? I've got your line unmuted.
I'm here.
You know where I'm going with this? It's the other day we had a discussion because Taylor had a fellow on the line. It was very. You want to talk about that a little bit, Taylor? What happened and what we did with him and how we basically excused him? I mean, this is important stuff because this is the kind of stuff people have to know and learn. And she's really good with this. But there are people who are going to be on the other end of the phone and they're going to challenge you. Why? Because people love to hear themselves talk. They love to tell you what they know. That's what people do. Like the guy in the diner in New Jersey. There's a lot of diners, and late at night when people stop in there, you always get a guy behind the counter who's serving you, and he knows something about everything. I mean, everything. He'll talk about anything. If you talk politics, he'll tell you politics. It's just crazy the way people want to tell you what they know, and that makes them look good. So when people start asking you questions and they're giving you uninformed opinions, there's a way to get rid of them. And we had that little incident the other day. Why don't you just talk about what happened, Taylor, in your conversation with this fellow and what you're doing now about that stuff?
Well, it was a cold contact. This was not somebody I knew. And I used Joe Shoop's great script. And the first question this guy asked me was, where did you get my name and information? And I wasn't sure really how to handle that. Joe helped me with that a little bit later when I, when I explained the situation. But already that was a strikeout because this guy had no interest in listening about anything. And he just wanted to know how I had gotten his information. And I realized, okay, this guy is not a good prospect. He's not open to listening. He's not looking. And my goal at that point is to get off the phone as fast as possible. I didn't handle it correctly at that point. Joe later told me that with someone like that, I want to respond by saying, well, we have several companies that we work with who give us lists of people who want to build a successful business working from home. And I don't remember exactly what I said. Like I said, my goal was to get off the phone because he was not interested at all. But what Joe did share with me is I'm absolutely going to try out this week, and I believe will help me greatly. It's basically taking back, being in control of the conversation, asking the questions, letting him know that I'm looking for somebody that is open to listening and interested in learning about a management position working from home with my company. So anyway,
was
Joe,
he trying to tell you stuff as well, Taylor? Wasn't he trying to give you information and trying to give you? I mean, it might have been somebody. We had a conversation. Somebody was trying to say, "What about this?" and "How about that?" And anyway, what you have to learn with stuff like this is you just have to know that just what Joe Norman just said, not interested in uninformed opinions, not interested. As soon as a person says to you, well, if you're working in a cold market and Taylor is really, she's not afraid of that market at all, and I like that market myself. And, you have to recognize what the signals are on a person who wants to start giving you their opinions and wants to start leading the conversation. And one of the key things in a cold market is when I start asking you, where'd you get my name? And you respond what Taylor said. We work with several people and several companies who supply us with names of people that at some point we're interested in having a successful business at home. Frank, have you ever had a successful business at home? And if they respond back to you with anything more than, well, yeah, I have, but, and they start questioning again, well, where'd you get it? I want to know more, and what did you do? That's the strike. That you're done here. These people are going to be asking and trying to tell you what they know about business, and you basically mark a strike on your paper, and the second time they do it, you excuse them, and you get rid of them. But there's a nice way to get rid of them, and I won't go too far with this, but basically you're just going to say to them, hey, Frank, let me ask you a question. Who do you know that would be interested in a career change for the right money? And in the back of your mind, you're saying to yourself, well, because obviously it's not you. And you would just have fun with it and get rid of them. So, but the point of this whole thing is not interested in uninformed opinions. And you have to recognize on the phone the conversation on the other end. Don't keep trying to feed them information and try to prove to them what you have is true. Once you hear a few of the questions, a few of the phrases that identify that person as an uninformed person and giving you uninformed opinions and start coming at you with attacks of, where did you get my name? And, oh, sure, what about this? If you hear that in their voice, you have to learn how to excuse them very nicely. Get on with your business. And that's one of the things, Joe, I think happens in this business is that people, A, uninformed about this economy or won't face up to what's going on, what's going to happen. And number two is they don't know how to handle that person on the phone who is giving them a hard time and trying to say the opposite of what you're trying to say. Or you're looking, again, for that interested party. And the minute you identify them as an uninterested person, learning how to get rid of them. Thanking them for their time. Obviously, this is not for you. So who do you know that would be interested in a career change for the right money, Frank? I don't know anybody. Great. Keep my number handy. If you come across someone that would be interested in a career change, maybe part-time, but you do me a favor, give them my number. But do me a favor also. Please don't send anybody to me that you wouldn't hire yourself, and get rid of them very nicely. You have to learn how to do that in this business. Even if it's somebody you know, you have to learn how to say goodbye. And before they say goodbye to you and make you feel stupid, because that's what happens. People have a hard time with conversations, Joe, because they feel stupid on the other end, because the person made them feel that way. Of course, you made yourself feel that way if you don't know the techniques on how to get rid of them. And that's the stuff we're working with, teaching people to be comfortable on the phone so they can have the kind of dialogue you just talked about. So that's, I'm excited about about working with people who want to understand and learn how to do these kinds of things, and that's what you have to get. You have to get better educated in a number of areas here, and one of them is what Joe just said. You have to learn to ask that question: where do you see yourself? How serious are you about making money with KB Vision? Do you see yourself as a 1 or a 5, right? Or do you see yourself as a 5 or a 10? Always ask them a couple of questions. Where do you see yourself getting started, Frank? Do you see yourself at a $500 purchase, or do you see yourself at $100? Where do you see yourself, Frank? They're the kind of things that you ask. I always ask, Joe, in a three-way conversation, I always ask the prospect, if Taylor were to three-way somebody into me, I would say, well, Frank, let me ask you this question. With a little bit of effort on your end and a lot of support from us, do you see yourself being successful here at KB Vision? And I think that's a great question to ask, because they know that at least with a little bit of effort, we'll give them a lot of support. So anyway, they're the kind of things you have to learn here, Joe. And, you're right. You have to get rid of, you have to identify the people that have uninformed opinions. So,
Joe, let me just touch on this real quick, and this will fire people up. But if you ever seen an opportunity in direct sales where you can make money just buying the product. Think about that. That. Just buying our product. Those of us that have made 15% in the last 30 days. Think about that. How powerful is that as a statement to give a prospect? Back to you, Joe.
Right. Yeah, I love that. I am just I am so that again, that's what drew a lot of us here was the fact that just buying the product alone, you're making money now potentially, and I know that has to be true because it's happened for thousands of years. The price of gold has gone up. You buy gold here, even if it went down the day after you bought it. The bottom line is you don't put money in and go buy gold and then go take it out the next day hoping you make a profit. This is a program where you purchase your product and it becomes an asset, not an expense. This is not an expense. This is an asset, and it's going up in value. So you're right.
Here's really the flip side of that. The amount of money that we made is really the amount of money that we preserved from the loss. Think about that for a minute. We're at a place now we've never been before. I mean, I heard on the radio there was a 70% unpopularity with the current administration's handling of the economy, and there was a 68% unpopularity with the way the Republicans have looked at slashing everything. Do you honestly think for 1 minute that anybody is really going to make the serious, hard choices necessary and they're going to do it and think about getting reelected? I don't, personally. We're at a different place, and that's why gold is soaring, because of what they have to go through in order to achieve of anything of real value. That's only my perception, though.
Yes. Deanna, I'm just going to try to open your line one more time here, but I am having difficulty with that line, so I'll try this one more time. And has Cindy Belmonte joined us? I'm asking that question because I'm going to open up the lines. I don't think so, but I think she got a late notice on this. Actually wasn't scheduled to be here today. But Deanna, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I do hear you.
Oh, okay. I think it was my speaker phone that was probably the problem, so I won't use that anymore.
Let me just quickly say Deanna Kennedy has her first time in a network marketing company. She became successful. It's not a secret. Is with a company with a nutritional product that's been around quite a while, and she went into that company out of the corporate world, out of owning her own business, and also she also has done singing and opening acts for major stars in the country music world. And she walked into network marketing, didn't know one thing about it, and said, "What do I do?" They said, "Well, just share your information and go build a team, and consequently build a team and build an income, a lifelong income with it." And is still with that company, and of course sees the value of other opportunities, and we've been friends a number of years. We were on an advisory board together that's how we met in another company, and we bonded and became friends, and we're not just we've seen each other at conferences and so on, and shared information. We work together, and so she's here with KB Gold, has been for a while, but she knows the value of building a business. She knows communication. She's a great communicator. She knows how to talk to people. It's one of the reasons that she'll be part of the Monday and Wednesday calls, is because she understands that. And right out of the gate, how many people do you know, Boomer, that came right out of the gate and built a lifelong income the minute she got there? And it's just pretty amazing, really.
I know, right?
Yeah. Right. So Miss Deanna Kennedy, Minnesota, and don't go Googling her and trying to contact her and take her to another company, because you'll be out of the Breakfast Club. Anyway, so Deanna, I'm excited about tomorrow night and sharing your information. So I know you're working with Tom Richardson, who's also a big part of your group, and it's pretty exciting. So, but maybe you want to make a couple comments before we close here.
Well, my comment is just that we're a big team, and I think the group, as much as we can make smaller teams to work the big team, that's a huge effort. Many people make this big team very strong, and it is the communication part of it, just getting out and talking to people. And if you're just starting, surround yourself with a couple of people that understand business. that's a big part of it, because this is business. It isn't just talking about something and hoping to make money at it. It is a business, and you have to think that way, and you have to communicate and strategize and keep tabs on what's going on and communicate with the people that you can feed yourself with, because that's another part of it, is you have to keep it going for yourself. You have to keep nourishing yourself and bringing something new to the table. And, that's what these kinds of friendships evolve from. And I think that's been Joe's relationship with me and with all the people that I've brought to him. It's been wonderful. I'm about to bring in a couple of new people here that I think are going to be a great addition to our group. They're public speakers. They're interesting, involved people, all very interested in gold and the future of our country, and, of course, surviving and protecting our own wealth. So, for me, that's what it's about, Joe, and I thank you for bringing me into it.
You're welcome, and thank you. I'm making notes here as you were speaking, and I like to jot down some things: surviving, protecting your wealth. There you go. Some of the words, I like to write this stuff down because I end up using them when I'm talking to people. Yes, you did introduce me to someone the other day. I think John or Bill. I can't remember. It was John, right? That's probably Bill.
Bob.
Okay, yeah.
Bob Flynn. Yeah.
Neither one. There you go. He's probably on the line here with us now. Sorry, Bob. Yeah, we had a little chat.
I'm sure he is online.
Well, I won't forget
That's
that
okay.
All right. So anyway, we had a little chat the other day, and again, here's Deanna spending time with him, and also is doing 3 ways to me. That's important stuff, is to introduce your people to other people, and I'm sure she'll be introducing to Dr. Dennis, and it's just the way business is done. And she's right there. This is about a business that you work from home. Certainly you can work while you're out, but this is a business where it's the home business arena. It's what America has become. Over 50% of all homes now have some kind of home business. This happens to be one of them. So it's a great opportunity to do that. But, we're going to be covering a lot of stuff on the women's calls from now on Monday and Wednesday. I encourage all of you to get your people, men. It's not just for women. Men should be coming to this call and learning from what people like Deanna and Taylor are doing. You want to learn phrases. You want to learn how to communicate with someone. You want to learn what to do if somebody on the phone, whether it's a friend or not, says something that you think, oh my gosh, how do I get out of this? You need to come to these calls and learn and listen, learn and practice. Can't manage your result, only the activity. Taylor Eckert is going to a cold market. Why? She has lists of people that need to be contacted that she doesn't even know these people. It's not bad to work in a cold market. It's a nice market to work in, to be honest with you. A lot of people don't like it, but when you learn the proper techniques, you learn how to effectively communicate your message to somebody you don't know, I can tell you can find some powerful people that way and find and build a team of people right through, it's advertising is really all it is. Making a phone call in the cold market is nothing more than running a newspaper ad looking for people. You just have to do it by words. And you do that effectively. It only takes 2 or 3 minutes on each call to find out if you have an interested party, someone who wants to have a successful business from home. That's the interest level you're looking for. Have a successful business from home. And you have to learn their strategy. So if you want to learn these things, we're going to be covering these things. Bring your people. Bring your new people. People maybe that have say to you, I burned my market. I don't know who to call. Great. We'll show you who to call. We'll show you who to communicate with. We'll show you how to contact them. We'll show you how to communicate your message effectively, how to do an effective 3-way, how to bring them to the 3-way call, and feel good about what you're doing, not feel intimidated because you're making a phone call and somebody's saying, no, it's not me. You have to learn how to do that stuff in this industry, and what my message is. Bring people to this call on Wednesday evening. Bring everybody you know and come listen to what these women have to say in our business. You're going to be hearing from Cindy Belmonte. You're going to hear from a number of leaders in this company that are telling you what to do. And I tell you, men as well as women, get to this call and listen to what they're doing and how they effectively communicate their message and build their teams. So with that, Joe Norman, I'm going to go back to you. Dr. Dennis, I know we're having you quiet there, and but there you go. You're unmuted. We're bringing you back in. There you go.
Before you go, Joe, I'd like to ask a question. I don't know if you're going to do open questions on the call, but before Joe Norman comes on, just this 50, 100, 500 program, or let's start the other way, 500, 150 euro program. I wasn't quite clear because I hadn't heard this before. This is new to me, and I'm sure other people have a question there in terms of structuring your groups accordingly. I have two questions. One, are you incorporating in your placements their commitment to refer or just their commitment to buy? And then number two, when they commitment to buy is 500 euro, are you discriminating out a one-time purchase from a 500 euro per month contract? So anyway, that's all I wanted to bring up. I'm fascinated by the idea.
Joe Norman, there you go.
Well, you're giving them a choice. Let them decide. People are more comfortable when they have options. And that's why I always follow the three options up with, so where do you see yourself getting started? What's more comfortable for you? Either of those three choices, you got an order, and they have skin in the game. We have to encourage people to get in the game. People are standing outside of the stadium listening to all the noise going on, and everyone on the field is making money hand over fist. And that's a fact. And from what I learned yesterday, like I said earlier, you ain't seen nothing yet. You think 15% in 30 days is impressive? And it is. Guys, 15% in 12 months in this environment is nothing short of incredible. We're doing that in 30 days and have done it for the last 3 months. Just like clockwork. You tell me one negative thing about that. There is nothing negative. It is exciting. And do we get excited or concerned on down days where floor traders are taking profits? Of course not. That's going to happen. And you need to understand that. Just as was said earlier, this is long-term stuff. This is a private savings club. Not a trading club, a private savings club where we build wealth 1 gram at a time. Back to you, Joe.
Well, I'm going to go over to Boomer because we'll just close down here, Boomer, and let us know what's going on the rest of the day and the week, and we'll get on with our work.
Well, we have today, you guys. The Jimmy Larson traditional Tuesday webcast is not on this week. He's coming out with a new webinar, so that has been canceled for today. Today's Tuesday. Tomorrow, if you go to mykbgold.us and go to the More tab under Schedule Events, you'll see the schedule that we have going on for the rest of the week. But just wanted to make sure everybody knew about Tuesday's schedule for the webinar today. And been a great response. If you go, I just want to make a little correction here. If you're on Facebook and you go in your search on your Facebook page and you go into the search bar on Facebook and you put in KB Vision KB Stadium, you will find the page. You'll find some information on the stadium. On the left side, you'll see a link that says social media under the sidebar. And if you click on that and then click on the picture of the team, you can go get the details and the page will open up. Okay?
Yep. Okay. We can do that. So I'm going to let you close there, Boomer. Just we'll say goodbye to everybody and have a great day. But over.
Well, for Deanna and Taylor and Joe Norman and Dr. Dennis and Joe Shoop, it's Boomer signing off here. Thank you for taking the time to come and find out what we're doing, and invite people to the Wednesday evening broadcast, and blessings on you all.
Have a great day, everybody.
Take care.
Conference recording stopped.